Good evening, great souls. Welcome. We will be starting momentarily. Welcome, everyone. Let's begin this evening with a prayer together. Please join me in praying either inwardly or even with your voice if you feel to and are able to. Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
beloved friend God,
beloved friend God,
great masters,
great masters,
Lord Jesus Christ,
Lord Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Swami Sri Yukteswar,
Swami Sri Yukteswar,
Paramhansa Yogananda,
Paramhansa Yogananda,
saints and sages of all religions,
saints and sages of all religions,
lovingly we invoke your presence.
lovingly we invoke your presence.
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
we are your instruments.
we are your instruments.
Play and sing through our hearts
Play and sing through our hearts
the melody of your divine love.
the melody of your divine love.
Come to us now.
Come to us now.
Be with us always.
Be with us always.
Om. Peace.
Peace.
Amen.
Amen.
This evening we will chant together and share some stories later on and just try to feel the sacred dimension of our lives and dive deep into it. So we'll sing our first chant, Oh God Beautiful. And this is a chant that is sacred to Guru Nanak and the Sikh tradition, and Master brought it to this country and translated it into English, and he may also have modified the melody somewhat in order to get it to fit English better, but it's just a lovely chant. God in nature and God in the spiritual, God within and God all around us. Hang on.
And after each chant tonight, we'll just take a moment of inward meditation and let the chant go deep within. Oh God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful,
Oh God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful. At thy feet, oh, I do bow. At thy feet, oh, I do bow. Oh God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful. In the forest thou art green. In the forest thou art green. In the mountain thou art high. In the mountain thou art high. In the river thou art restless. In the river thou art restless. In the ocean thou art great. In the ocean thou art great. Oh God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful. At thy feet, oh, I do bow. At thy feet, oh, I do bow. Oh God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful.
To the serviceful thou art service. To the serviceful thou art service.
To the lover thou art love. To the lover thou art love. To the sorrowful thou art sympathy. To the sorrowful thou art sympathy.
To the yogi thou art bliss. To the yogi thou art bliss.
O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. At thy feet, O I do bow. At thy feet, O I do bow. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful.
In the forest thou art green. In the forest thou art green.
In the mountain thou art high. In the mountain thou art high. In the river thou art restless. In the river thou art restless.
In the ocean thou art great. In the ocean thou art great.
O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. At thy feet, O I do bow. At thy feet, O I do bow. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful.
To the serviceful thou art service. To the serviceful thou art service.
To the lover
thou art love.
To the lover thou art love. To the sorrowful thou art sympathy. To the sorrowful thou art sympathy.
To the yogi thou art bliss. To the yogi thou art bliss.
O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. At thy feet, O I do bow. At thy feet, O I do bow. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful.
In the forest thou art green. In the forest thou art green.
In the mountain thou art high. In the mountain thou art high. In the river thou art restless. In the river thou art restless.
In the ocean thou art great. In the ocean thou art great.
O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. At thy feet, O I do bow. At thy feet, O I do bow. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful.
To the serviceful thou art service. To the serviceful thou art service.
To the lover thou art love. To the lover thou art love. To the sorrowful thou art sympathy. To the sorrowful thou art sympathy.
To the yogi thou art bliss. To the yogi thou art bliss.
O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, Oh God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful, oh God, oh God, beautiful, oh God. We'll sing, wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Without thee my breath does not want to flow. Wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Thou didst say thou wouldst come, but thou hast not come. Restless is my soul day and night. Sorry, we're just trying to get the mics right. It seems to be a ticklish. All right, let's just try it. Wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Without thee my breath does not want to flow. Without thee my breath does not want to flow. Wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Your wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Thou didst say thou wouldst come, but thou hast not come. Thou didst say thou wouldst come, but thou hast not come. Restless is my soul day and night. Restless is my soul day and night. Wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Oh, wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Without thee my breath does not want to flow. Without thee my breath does not want to flow. Without thee my breath does not want to flow. Without thee my breath does not want to flow. Wind has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Oh, wind has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Thou didst say thou wouldst come, but thou hast not come. Thou didst say thou wouldst come, but thou hast not come. Restless is my soul day and night. Restless is my soul day and night. Wind has not touched my hand ever since I saw thee. Your wind has not touched my hand ever since I saw thee. Without thee my breath does not want to flow. Without thee my breath does not want to flow. Wind has not touched my hands ever since I saw thee. Your wing has not touched my hands ever since I saw thee. Thou didst say thou wouldst come, but thou hast not come. Thou didst say thou wouldst come, but thou hast not come. Restless is my soul day and night. 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 Wind has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Your wing has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Without thee my breath does not want to flow. Without thee my breath does not want to flow. Wind has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Wind has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Thou didst say thou wouldst come, but thou hast not come. Thou didst say thou wouldst come, but thou hast not come. Restless is my soul day and night. 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 Wind has not touched my hands ever since I saw thee. Wind has not touched my hands ever since I saw thee. Wind has not touched my hands ever since I saw thee. Wind has not touched my hands ever since I saw thee. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Lord, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Lord, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Lord, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Lord, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. 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 Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. We'll sing in the temple of silence now, and at the end of this chant, there will be a short meditation. Let the chant guide you into meditation, which is the temple of silence. Turn your mic on, honey. Is it on?
Now it is.
Important safety tip.
In the temple of silence, in the temple of peace, in the temple of silence, in the temple of peace, I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of peace. And coax thee to my altar of peace. In the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss, in the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss, I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of bliss, and coax thee to my altar of bliss. In the temple of silence, in the temple of peace, in the temple of silence, in the temple of peace, I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of peace, and coax thee to my altar of peace. In the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss, in the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss, I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of bliss, and coax thee to my altar of bliss. In the temple of silence, in the temple of peace, in the temple of silence, in the temple of peace, I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of peace, and coax thee to my altar of peace. In the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss, in the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss, I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of bliss, and coax thee to my altar of bliss, and coax thee to my altar of bliss. thought you wanted to sing your song.
Okay. So why don't you grab that guy if you can. Okay, we need to get a mic next to you somehow. So let's
How
try.
about this one?
Well, this is. I think I can do that one better.
Okay.
Try that. Let's. I want to just see that and see how it looks. All your children, mother, call you, knowing not it's you they call. Some through mists of their unknowing, bruised and hurting when they fall. Turn away, but who can leave you? You, the mother of us all. If the child forgets its mother, will she coldly turn away? Wise or foolish, we're your children. Guide us, Mother, if we stray. Those whose hearts are torn with anguish lack the power your name to call. Heal their wounds, Mom, soothe their sorrow. You, the mother of us all. Heal their wounds, Mom, soothe their sorrow. You, the mother of us all. So, do you want to read your little story or tell a story or?
Sure. I can read a story.
Okay. So, Nirmala's going to read a story and I am going to move the camera.
Do you want to move this? When Swami was in India in the early 1960s, he visited Swami Ramia, and Swami Ramia had also been visited by Yogananda. So it was a very special encounter for Swami. And while he was with him, Swami Ramia told Swami this story. And it's one that Swami would often tell in lectures and so on. And I could ad lib it, but the way he tells it is so beautiful. I wanted to read it. Namdev, a famous saint of Maharashtra, used to worship Krishna in his local temple with so much devotion that the Lord often appeared to him in vision. Namdev was revered by many devotees who came from great distances to sit at his feet. In his village, there was also another saint, a potter by profession. Like Namdev, this potter was widely reputed to have seen God. One day, a large crowd assembled in the temple to celebrate an annual spiritual festival. Many of those present were devotees of Namdev. Partway through the proceedings, the potter, acting on some divine whim, decided to test the spiritual caliber of each of the assembled worshippers. A potter tests the soundness of his wares by rapping on them with his knuckles. From the sound emitted, he can tell whether or not a pot is cracked. With this practice in mind, Namdev's fellow saint went about slapping the assembled devotees. Because they held him in such high esteem, no one complained. It was assumed that this peculiar behavior was intended as some sort of spiritual lesson. When the potter saint slapped Namdev, however, Namdev was incensed. Wasn't he this man's spiritual equal? Why did you hit me? He demanded indignantly. Calmly, the potter stood up and announced, "There seems to be a crack in this pot." Everyone laughed. Namdev, stung to the quick, went to the temple and prayed, "Lord, you know I love you. Why did you allow me to be so humiliated before my own devotees?" "But what can I do?" Namdev said the Lord, appearing to him. "There is a crack in that pot." "Lord," cried Namdev, prostrating himself full length on the floor before the image, "I want to be worthy of you. Won't you show me the way to perfection?" The Lord answered, "For that you need a guru, Namdev." "But I behold you, the Lord of the universe. Of what use would a guru be to me?" "I can inspire you through visions," the Lord replied. "I can even instruct you, but I can't lead you out of delusion except through the medium of one who knows me, for such is my law." "Lord, won't you then at least tell me who my guru is?" The Lord gave Namdev the name of a certain saint and that of the village in which he lived. "He will be your guru," the Lord said. He added with a smile, "But don't be surprised if he seems a bit peculiar. That is just his way." Namdev went to the village named by Krishna and made inquiries as to the saint's whereabouts. "That lunatic," laughed the villagers. "Who would want anything to do with him?" It is a practice of some saints, you see, to protect themselves from curiosity seekers by strange behavior. But when Namdev pressed the villagers further, they replied offhandedly, "Oh, you'll probably find him somewhere around the temple. He usually spends his time there." Namdev went to the temple. No one was in the courtyard, but when he entered the temple, he found a wild looking, disheveled old man carelessly sprawled on the floor. "Surely this can't be my guru," he thought anxiously. A moment later, the question faded from his mind, for to his horror, he noticed that the old man's feet was resting on a Shiva linga. This is a holy statue. Furious at this act of desecration, he strode over and ordered the old man at once to shift his feet. The old man opened his eyes drowsily. "Oh, you see, my son," he replied, "my difficulty is that I am so old. This body is no longer so easy for me to move. Would you do me the favor of moving my feet to some spot where there is no Shiva linga?" Namdev hastened to oblige. He was about to set the old man's feet down in a new spot when he saw directly underneath them another Shiva linga. He shifted them again. A third linga appeared, yet again a fourth linga. Suddenly, understanding dawned. This man was indeed his guru. Prostrating himself humbly before him, Namdev prayed for forgiveness. "I was blind, Guru Deva," he cried. "Now I know who you are and I understand what it is you've been trying to teach me." With calm majesty, then, the old man rose to his feet. "God is everywhere, Namdev," he said. "Realize him in yourself, and with transformed vision, behold him residing in all things." The Guru struck Namdev gently on the chest over the heart. Breath left the disciple's body. Rooted to the temple floor, Namdev stood as if transfixed, unable to move a muscle. His consciousness, like rising waters in a lake, burst the frail dam of his body. In fluid light, it streamed outward in all directions, embracing temple precincts, the village, the whole of India. Nations, continents, oceans became absorbed by his expanding bliss. At last, it included the entire world, solar systems, galaxies. In every speck of space, he saw God alone, unending light, bliss infinite. Too deeply absorbed for mere amazement, he realized that all this was he. From that day onward, Namdev lived immersed in the divine consciousness. He wandered about the countryside, intoxicated day and night with fathomless bliss. One day, many months later, he happened to be in the vicinity of his old village. Passing the temple where he had first worshipped God, he entered and sat for meditation. Again, the Lord Krishna appeared to him as of old in the form so beloved. "My child," said Krishna, "for so many months you have neglected me. You who never failed to worship here a single day. I have missed you. Where have you been?" "My beloved," cried Namdev, smiling happily at the Lord's playfulness, "how could I think of coming here to see you when everywhere I gaze, I behold your formless presence?" Blissfully then the Lord replied, "Now there are no cracks in that pot." The crack in Namdev's pot had been his awareness of himself as a separate ego, distinct from all others. In cosmic fact, our egos are nothing but vortices of conscious energy that within the vast ocean of consciousness take on the appearance of having a separate reality of their own, like the eddies of water in a brook. I'll move it. Okay.
So I will tell a story now also. And some weeks ago, I was uh, relating different people who had had some influence on my life in the early days of my on the spiritual path at Ananda in the late 70s and early 1980s. And so I thought to just tell a little more of that story. And again, this is kind of the impossible because it's Ananda through my own eyes, and there's no end to it. You know, I could just start and keep going and basically never stop. But the reason I made the list in the first place, just to rewind back several weeks, probably even 6 or 8 weeks, is that it struck me when we were celebrating, commemorating Swamiji's life on the anniversary of his passing, which was the 7th anniversary of his passing. This is about a month ago, and then his birthday, which was a little over a week ago. Um, that we focus on Swamiji when we think of Ananda, when we zero in on what is, the motivation, what is the focus of Ananda. Swamiji is right in the center of that discussion. And so naturally, every time we talk, we tend to reference Swami. We also lived with him. So we had, many, many years of interaction and of quite a few of actually just living right in the same house with him. But in the early days, for me in particular, I really wasn't around Swamiji that much. Um, in my first years, I was out doing construction work, and then I lived at a sister community of Anandas called Ocean Song in the early 1980s, from about 1981 until late 1983, and did construction work there. And so I only got back to Ananda Village occasionally. Swamiji would come to Ocean Song occasionally, so we would see him there once in a while. Or if he was making a trip to San Francisco, since Ocean Song was in the north in Sonoma County, kind of near the coast, we would drive an hour down to San Francisco and meet him there at the big ashram that was in San Francisco. But anyway, my interactions with him were relatively few, but my interactions with others were significant. And I mentioned several of them earlier, but I thought to go on a little bit. And two of them in particular figured into those days significantly. The first one was Arjuna, who gave me my first real job at Ananda. And Arjuna lives in Ananda Assisi and has been living there since 1984 or 85, and uh, significantly involved there ever since going there. And but in the days when I came to Ananda, he was running a construction company, and I remember very diffidently going up to him and wondering if he had work. And I went up to Shivani first, and she steered me to Arjuna. Um, I knew Shivani from teaching because she was teaching a lot of the classes. And he said, "Well, come on out." And he was just about to start up the expanding light, and so there a donation had been made, and we had enough money to work through most of the winter on the basis of that donation. The expanding light structure, the main buildings at that time, was just a foundation, and so um, I joined the crew. This is probably November of 1979, and it was a rainy winter, and we worked in the rain. And I so much appreciated Arjuna. I was making $2 an hour, which was pretty darn good wages at that time. That was over $300 a month if you got your 40 hours in. And wow, It's a different scale, John. What can you say? But Arjuna had this extraordinarily positive, energetic, get it done, let's move the energy kind of approach to these things. And by this point, Arjuna was much more the contractor. That was his mentality. His idea was to get the jobs, get the energy moving, make the contracts, and hire a bunch of people to do the work, which was great because we needed that kind of organizing energy. And later, we did some work for him and with him out on the coast in Sea Ranch, which is north of where Ocean Song was by about an hour. And that was also quite an adventure and wonderful and fun. But the two figures that I wanted to touch on tonight were Arjuna and Jaya, because I remember in the spring of 1980, Arjuna had landed a job which happened to be for uh, a sister and a brother-in-law of his out on the coast, not south of Sea Ranch, actually even a little south of Ocean Song, just in a little town called Dillon Beach, kind of out from the coast, out to the coast from Petaluma. And I heard that he had gotten this job, and I was so hoping to be able to go. And as it turned out, I was able to. And Jaya was the foreman, Arjuna was the contractor, and a bunch of us went. Michael Gornick, Nakeen, who was John Lenti at the time, Ray Noble, myself, Michael. There may have been one or two others who came at different points, but that was the main crew. And Arjuna was there some of the time, and then some of the time he was busy with other jobs and would go back up to Ananda. But one of the things that I loved about Arjuna is that he had this wonderful way of balancing the work life with the fun life. And the fun life for him was to play tennis in the afternoon. And so we would go and we would play tennis. And Arjuna and Jaya would match up against Michael Gornick and I, and we would play doubles sometimes, or we would split up and two of us would play singles and the other two would play singles. Anyway, or if the weather was bad, we would go into Petaluma or Santa Rosa and we'd play racquetball. And, and then we'd sit in the sauna and, anyway, it was just great fun. We loved, and every once in a while, Arjuna would get it up his nose. If jobs were going well and the contracts were doing reasonably well, hey, let's knock off, it'd be like after lunch, let's knock off for the rest of the day. And we'd zoom off and we'd go play tennis, racquetball, whatever. But the other thing that I loved about that particular little period was that we had this very simple, grounded life, which is we got up in the morning early. As time went by, that actually shifted to be really early because we didn't know it when we got to Dillon Beach, but the wind just howls out there. And even in the late spring, as it was starting to get hot, around May, June, kind of around this time of year, when the heat in the valley was starting to really kick in and the temperatures would go up to around 100. In Dillon Beach, it could be 55 or 60, and the wind was howling out there. And which made it, frankly, kind of dangerous to do the work we were doing. Apart from it being dangerous, it was just freezing. And it was kind of deranging after a while. I mean, we would wear, hoodies and hats and gloves and, kind of bear up against this wind. So, but anyway, we got up very early. We shifted our schedule to where we would start work at 6 in the morning and we would work until 2 in the afternoon, because in the afternoons the wind really kicked in. But anyway, we meditated together as a crew first thing in the morning, and we meditated at lunchtime, which, wound up being at like 10 in the morning. It was a very strange schedule, but anyway, that was our lunch. And then we would work straight on until we would quit. And then before, different guys had different rhythms, but in the afternoon, we Michael and I would often go out to the beach and we would do our afternoon meditation before having dinner right at the beach, and we would watch the sunset. And it was just the most magical, amazing time. And then we'd fix some dinner, and then we would go and plant ourselves in front of Jaya and start pestering him with questions. So Jaya being the foreman and kind of the carpenter master, carpenter guru, would train us, and we'd all figure stuff out because we were building a Victorian style house. So lots of 33 different roof pitches, lots of angles, lots of very particular, very kind of old time construction. You don't see that sort of thing much anymore, or if you do, it's really high end. It's really, really labor intensive and expensive to do, but it's a beautiful home, and it was just a really fun time. Very, very focused. I remember coming back to Ananda in July, and I mean, I came back to life in a teepee. I mean, it's not like there was that much complexity at Ananda in those days. Nobody had phones, nobody had cars, nobody had even, I didn't even have running water.
Mhm.
Nirmala coined a term, at least I think she did. She had walking water. Well, I had walking water too, which means you get your jugs, you go to the spigot somewhere outside, you open the faucet up, you fill up your bottles, and you'd carry them home and, wash your dishes from that, brush your teeth, whatever. Anyway, like I say, it was very simple. But coming back to Ananda from that construction work, life actually seemed kind of complicated. There's a lot of events, a lot of things to do in the night times, and it just was like, wow, this is really full. And I had another opportunity about a year later to go out and work on that same job again. And again, it was this sort of massive relief of simplicity of, you get up, you do the sadhana, you go to work, you meditate, you come home, you meditate, you focus on learning something, and then go to bed, and it's all done and it's all good. But anyway, those people and their support, and Michael Gornick was another one on my list, but he sort of merits a whole other uh, time, because we ended up as business partners and built homes, created a business, and built quite a few homes on our own. Um, and he and I think, go back lifetimes. I'm sure I've been connected with the others for lifetimes too, but with Michael, it was very, very close. And so I'll wait on him for another time. But that era was a formative one for me because it really helped to establish a foundation. And it was hard work. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know astrology, but that was a Sati Sati period, a 7.5 year period, when the Saturn is sort of pushing on the moon this is Vedic astrology, in an intense way that is basically kind of squelching to the ego. But the beautiful thing is that as a young guy, I didn't really care. I didn't have an ego to care about the fact that it was getting smushed. And so it was just a beautiful, blissful time. Yes, it was hard work, but it was good work. We perspired every day. We were working hard. We were, making things happen and helping Ananda to get established. And it was important to have good work and good workers. And it helped us when we were finally able to actually build things at Ananda and get paid doing it, to really appreciate what a blessing it was to be able to be home and work at home. Because that period at Ocean Song led directly to Swamiji calling us back from Ocean Song, several of us, and saying, help me by building Crystal Hermitage. His parents had passed away by that point. This is late 1983 and the beginning 6 months of 1984. And he had written the oratorio, and that was a whole other chapter that opened up. And so we we were in bliss being able to work at home. We could literally walk to work. I mean, I could, because I was living in Ayodhya. I just had to walk down the hill. And what an amazing, I never tired of or never took for granted would be a better way to say it. Never took for granted the blessing of being able to have that closeness with Swami, closeness with a construction crew that was all very skilled and just a lot of fun as well. So anyway, those are a few little snippets from my checkered past and the early days of Ananda. Early days of Ananda, in from my vantage point. I mean, early days of Ananda would really go back to 69, 70, 71, 72, that era. But I didn't come until the late 70s. So um, this is the story that I can tell. But what joy! I lived in a little trailer in that era working on the Crystal Hermitage. I lived in a little tiny trailer, smaller than the room that we're sitting in right now. The trailer was about 6 by 12. And right in the middle of the trailer, I could stand up without bending over. But if I moved 2 or 3 feet to one side, I had to bend. And if I moved 2 or 3 feet to the other side, then I either had to sit down or I had to climb up to the place where the bed was up over the dining table. So there was only one little, you know, 2 foot by 3 foot area where I could actually stand up, which was right by the sink and the stove. But I was just so happy in that little trailer. It was simple, but it had everything that I needed. I even ran a telephone through the woods. So I had this little uh, chunky bell telephone, with the bells on it when it would ring. But my parents could call me, which was like a big deal to them. They just thought I had jumped off a cliff out there at Ananda. So, the fact that they could actually call me and I would be the one to pick the phone up, not some random unknown person that just positively freaked them out. The idea that you'd call somewhere and you never knew who was going to pick the phone up. Ay. Anyway, so the comfort level went up dramatically. They had no use for the monastery. They had no use for the trailer. They really didn't have much use for Ananda as a whole. But the fact that they could at least get me on the telephone, that settled things tremendously. So anyway, I'll I'll put a fine on it there. Otherwise, I could just keep going and going and going. So let's do another chant or two here. Why don't we do I Am the Bubble, since you have the harmonium there,
Okay.
and I will pick up the guitar.
How about if I change the camera a little bit here?
Give me 1 sec here. Okay.
So do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord, thou and I never apart, thou and I never apart. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea, wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea.
Make me the sea, oh, make me the sea. Wave up the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave up the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. So do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord. Thou and I never apart, thou and I never apart. Wave up the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave up the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh, make me the sea. Wave up the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave up the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. So do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord. Thou and I never apart, thou and I never apart. Wave up the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave up the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh, make me the sea. Wave up the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave up the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. So do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. Let's do no birth, no death. You lead. I'll play this. No, you can play that. I'll play the harmony. Okay. We're going to sing no birth, no death. No caste have I. Father, mother have I none. I am he. I am he. Blessed Spirit, I am he. Mind nor intellect nor ego feeling. Sky nor earth nor metals am I. I am he, I am he, blessed Spirit, I am he. Beyond all fancy, formless am I. Free from dreams of all earthly life. Bondage I fear not, I'm free in thy joy. Free, O free Lord, free in thy bliss. No birth, no death, nor caste have I. No birth, no death, nor caste have I. Father, mother, have I none. Father, mother, have I none. I am he, I am he. Blessed Spirit, I am he, I am he, I am he. Blessed Spirit, I am he. Mind nor intellect nor ego feeling. Mind nor intellect nor ego feeling. Sky nor earth nor metals am I. Sky nor earth nor metals am I. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. Beyond all fancy, formless am I. Beyond all fancy, formless am I. Free from dreams of all earthly life. Free from dreams of all earthly life. I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. Bondage I fear not, I'm free in thy joy. Bondage I fear not, I'm free in thy joy. Free, oh free, Lord, free in thy bliss. Free, oh free, Lord, free in thy bliss. I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He, oh I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. No birth, no death, nor cast have I. No birth, no death, nor cast have I. Father, mother, have I known. Father, mother, have I known. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. Oh, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. Mind nor intellect nor ego feeling. Mind nor intellect nor ego feeling. Sky nor earth nor metals am I. Sky nor earth nor metals am I. I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. Oh, I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. Beyond all fancy, formless am I. Beyond all fancy, formless am I. Free from dreams of all earthly life. Free from dreams of all earthly life. I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He, oh, I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. Bondage I fear not, I'm free in thy joy. Bondage I fear not, I'm free in thy joy. Free, oh free, Lord, free in thy bliss. Free, oh free, Lord, free in thy bliss. I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. Oh, I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am is this life flowing through my veins? Can it be other than divine? In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one. I am one with the infinite Om. What is this energy flowing through my form? What is this consciousness flowing through my brain? What is this power flowing through my will? What is this life flowing through my veins? Can it be other than divine? What is this life flowing through my veins? Can it be other than divine? In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. What is this energy flowing through my form? Can it be other than divine? What is this energy flowing through my form? Can it be other than divine? In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. What is this consciousness flowing through my brain? Can it be other than divine? What is this consciousness flowing through my brain? Can it be other than divine? In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. What is this power flowing through my will? Can it be other than divine? What is this power flowing through my will? Can it be other than divine? In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. What is this life flowing through my veins? Can it be other than divine? What is this life flowing through my veins? Can it be other than divine? In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. What is this energy flowing through my form? Can it be other than divine? What is this energy flowing through my form? Can it be other than divine? In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. What is this consciousness flowing through my brain? Can it be other than divine? What is this consciousness flowing through my brain? Can it be other than divine? In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. What is this power flowing through my will? Can it be other than divine? What is this power flowing through my will? Can it be other than divine? In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one with the infinite. In thy light, in my love, in my joy, I am one. I am one with the infinite. In my light, in my love, in my joy, I am one. I am one with the infinite. In my light, in my love, in my joy, I am one. I am one with the infinite. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Shanti, 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 Shanti. God bless you all. Carry the peace of these sacred vibrations with you into the night if you're in this side of the world, if into the day if you're on the other side of the world. May God and the Gurus bless you always. Om. Peace. Amen.